Are you thinking of doing a solo Umrah as a female Muslim traveler? Well, this video is for you. Assalamu alaikum, Elena here, the Muslim Travel Girl, and today we are taking it one step further for the solo female Muslim traveler who wants to go for Umrah, and we're talking about Solo Umrah, my tips and advice. I already have a video that shows you the step-by-step process of what to expect and the visuals of me doing my own Solo Umrah, but I thought, hey, you need some advice, you need some tips. I mean, I get all the emails, so why not just share a video, inshallah, for everyone to benefit. Here are my 5 tips and advice that I give my own friends, my readers on muslimtravelgo.com of what to expect when they go for Umrah. Number 1 big question is, can you actually do a solo Umrah? And oh boy, is this controversial on my website and social media. So if you think, or if you're here to just give a negative comment about women traveling by themselves, please check the link below about Sheikh Yasser Qadi's opinion of it, because that's the opinion I follow. If you're a woman and you're here, well, welcome, because you do want to do Umrah. So I'm very happy to help. Religiously, it really depends on your level of religiosity and how you feel about traveling by yourself. If you are already comfortable and you already travel by yourself, then by no means, go inshallah, you're safe. And I follow the opinion that I have linked in the description below. If you are still 50-50, if you're trying to convince your parents, if you're not confident enough, then nobody can really give you the answer. You're the only person who can decide for yourself if you are okay with going. And also, you're the only person who can decide if you feel safe enough to do that by yourself. From a legal perspective, Saudi Arabia has allowed women to do Umrah by themselves. You can issue your own tourist visa, or if you're in the UK, your visa waiver, which I have another video for you to choose which visa you want. And then you can literally just go as a tourist. During your time there, you can perform Umrah. It is that simple for a female now. Like, I remember 10 years ago, 12 years ago, first DIY Umrah, I had to beg for a visa only option. And then I had my ex-husband's photo and his mahram details on my visa, because that's the only way to travel. Now, I don't need that. I literally don't even need a visa because I can issue myself a visa waiver. So it is so much easier. So that is the first thing. The second question is it safe, Saudi Arabia, for Muslim women to do Umrah? And the answer is yes, it is safe. As any other country that if you are a solo female traveler, you have traveled to, then yes, Saudi Arabia is very safe, especially Mecca and Medina. I mean, I always say have normal precautions. There are petty thieves there as well, but you wouldn't be harassed. You know, you wouldn't have problem walking around at nighttime around the Haram Mosque. It is generally a safe country. I have lived in Jeddah and I did feel very safe there as well to walk around the Corniche and in places. Again, normal precautions. Like, women are definitely, as we know, more prone to crimes, unfortunately, not by our own default, of course. We have to be more careful. And I always take steps, and I do have an article that I'm going to link below. And I also do have a free resource that I have put together of all my articles, links and blog posts, things that I personally use. So you can get your hands on this in the link in the description. Generally, Saudi is safe not only to visit Mecca and Medina, but also to visit Jeddah, Riyadh, or Dammam. I have also been to those countries, to those places, and they're absolutely beautiful. I think that there is a lot of beauty around Saudi Arabia that is natural beauty still that you can see, and I'm going to link all the articles and details in the description. In general, you won't have a problem. If you don't normally cover your hair or wear a abaya, then that's totally okay. You can do that in the cities outside Mecca and Medina. However, I personally wear abaya just unbuttoned, because otherwise you would stand too much. I mean, there is no problem. You will see people walking without abayas nowadays in Jeddah. I just feel better and more comfortable fitting in a little bit more. The third question I always get asked is the rituals of Umrah. How long does Umrah take? And in reality, Umrah takes only a couple of hours. If you watch my videos from before, and if you watch my solo Umrah video, I have a lot of tips that I give on the go there, because that Umrah took me 3 hours. But in general, it was my own rookie mistake for that. But in general, Umrah takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how long you want to pray and meditate and be mindful and stay and enjoy the whole experience, so you don't rush the experience. But it doesn't take as long as people assume it takes. And it's a very easy process. Yes, there are du'as, yes, there are rituals and steps you have to do. Overall, it is not an overwhelming experience. So I definitely recommend check the resource and also check my solo Umrah video. That will help you see visually what Umrah looks like. That it's not that difficult. My always advice will be, if you are arriving and your intention is to check Saudi Arabia and visit Saudi, but also do Umrah. Arrive in Medina. I like doing my Umrahs now in a more slow pace to enjoy them and to benefit spiritually from them. Like I have done so many, alhamdulillah. I just want to enjoy that experience. Even if I only do one Umrah, I want to take my time with it. I prefer to go into Medina and then take the train and come into Mecca and be rested and relaxed. And this whole process takes me only an hour and a half travel, or 2 hours of travel, instead of 7 or 8 hours if I was to fly directly into Jeddah from the United Kingdom. It's just you're more exhausted, and I rather not do that. And also I don't like staying in Ihram for too long, just in case I have done something, wrong or scratched myself, which I have a tendency to do. And those are not allowed, when you're in your Ihram. And you can read up on those obligations that you have, how to keep your Ihram on. Women don't need the Ihram as the white cloth. You just need your abaya and your hijab. Ihram is more of the state of mind that you are in while you have the intention for Umrah. And you do your intention while you're on the plane. If you're landing in Jeddah, in your Mikah. If you're on the train, they will let you know where the Mikah point is for Umrah. Then you will make your intention that inshallah you are going for Umrah with your Ihram until you finish your Umrah. And that takes me to the practicality of it, where you do cut a small piece of your hair. Please do not cut too much. The first time I did Umrah, I think I cut this much. Obviously had to go to the hairdressers and recut parts of it. But now you literally need a very small piece of your hair once you finish all your rituals, which is the end of Safa Marwa. I do carry a small scissors, but even if you don't have scissors, Bin Dawood, the supermarket, will have a scissors for you. I do that just before I exit the mosque because that is my end of my Umrah. So what are my practical tips for you? Number one, I would suggest, again, as I mentioned before, go to Medina first or to Riyadh and fly in from Riyadh, simply because you will be more rested instead of just rushing your Umrah. Again, if time permits. If time doesn't permit, then you're okay. The second thing is carry your own little scissors with you, or you can buy one from Bin Dawood. Bin Dawood supermarket has everything you might want and need, from candies to toilet seat, like everything. There are shops around there, so even if you forget something, you want to buy snacks, pretty much everything around. There are coffee shops, restaurants, etc. You will find everything in walking distance. Personally, if I am traveling solo, I try to always pick reputable hotels and close to the Haram. I do use a lot of miles and points, and I do have a course and a book on miles and points and how to get up to 70% discount your hotels for the Haram area, like for the 5-star hotels near the Haram area. I will leave links in the description for those. I don't want to be traveling by bus, especially because I go, like my last Umrah was with my best friend and our daughters. I always try, especially if I'm staying with my daughter, somewhere to be close to the main attraction, even if I have to budget a little bit more or cut a day short to fit the budget, because I want that convenience. And also I really like to be able to make my wudu and go to the toilet in my room instead of using the public toilets, which are totally fine and they're available. With transportation methods, my favorite transportation method between Mecca and Medina is the Haramain train by far. They used to have a bus, now they stopped the bus because it's not needed. The train, if booked in advance, one way in economy and then business class, I believe they were like 20 or 25 pounds. For business class, you give snack, bigger seat, and I do have videos and articles on those. It's a very comfortable experience. It's very fast, and I also absolutely love train travel. You can see the whole scenery. Saudi has a beautiful, diverse scenery to see. Transportation from Jeddah to Mecca, I highly recommend taxis because you can take a bus. There is a bus option that can take you from the terminals to Mecca. It is cheaper if you're really struggling on a budget. I'd be like £1 or £5. So if you were to take the train from Jeddah to Mecca, you will have to take the train outside the terminal, which is Terminal 1. If you're in the old terminal, you do have to bus or take a taxi to the new terminal to take the train, and then take a taxi from train station to your hotel. It's about 10-15 minutes because the train station is not within the Haram area. It's a more convoluted way of traveling, but again, it might be slightly cheaper. For me personally, the easiest and fastest way to get from Jeddah to Mecca is to get a ride share or to get a taxi outside the airport. The taxi outside the airport, the government taxis, are green and they cost approximately 250 to 300 Saudi riyals. Careem is the most popular transport option in Saudi Arabia. There is an app and you download it. It's the same as Uber, a stand outside the airport area as well. And I like taking ride shares, especially if I am traveling and I want to share my details or I know where the drivers are going. This is usually my preferred method of travel, especially if I'm traveling solo. Just a precaution, you don't have to do it. I have taken normal taxis from the airport to Mecca and I have had never any problems. Again, as I mentioned before, it is a safe place, but that's what I personally do. If you want to explore Jeddah afterwards, I highly recommend spending a couple of days in Jeddah. It's a really nice city. They have a promenade. I absolutely recommend the spa Oriana in Jeddah. Jeddah, because if you want some pampering after Umrah and do a manicure, pedicure, or a hammam, it's a women-only spa in Jeddah. It's on the corner. It has a very nice view, and I don't recommend for the ladies to just benefit and relax, inshallah. On the next question of what to wear or what to take for Umrah, I know it gets very overwhelming as a checklist of what to wear. I travel with like 3 abayas, a maxi dress or a couple of maxi dresses, cotton maxi dresses, short sleeve most of the time, that are covered through my abaya. I prefer cotton abayas simply because they're more breathable. I'm a person who sweats a lot, unfortunately, and when it's very hot, I get very agitated. So I prefer breathable materials, linen and cotton, that I will feel comfortable in, be able to wear and go outside in the heat or when I do tawaf, because again, I actually prefer to do tawaf in the bottom with the Kaaba area, and I do those tawafs when it's hot, because nobody wants to go and do tawaf when it's hot, except from the crazy people. And I'm one of the crazy people, because then it's less crowded. I can enjoy it. I can stand and sit and look at the Kaaba and not have an obstructed view, and I can just like be mindful and grateful for the opportunity to be there. So those abaya really save my day. Again, you don't need that many. If you're going for 10 days, 4 abayas or 3 abayas will be more than enough, and also cotton dresses. Now, I know they're very hard to come by. I have been to the Jeddah Mall. There is an abaya mall in Jeddah. I'm gonna leave the name somewhere. I don't remember it from the top of my head. Spent the hours there looking for cotton abayas. I discovered this summer the similar abayas and materials are available on websites like ASOS, Modernisa, etc. I buy my cotton dresses, very similar to what I'm wearing at the moment actually, from Modernisa or from ASOS or from places that obviously you're comfortable shopping with. They're breathable, they're long, they cover. You really don't need that many options. I also wear leggings sometimes with my maxi underneath my maxi dresses just to be more comfortable. And I wear mostly jersey hijabs, not these ones that I'm wearing at the moment, because these ones are not they don't stay, they're not breathable, they make you really hot. You don't want it. That I wear either cotton ones or like those jacquard, but then they don't move around from your head. For shoes, I personally wear Kingstocks Beach Edition. They're absolutely amazing. You can literally wash them, and I've been wearing them for years. I went to Hajj with them, and I do have an article on all of the stuff that I have gotten for Hajj, and I will leave them here as well. And then my trainers, breathable, they're easy to wear, and they're like all material, so your foot, even if it expands from the heat or from traveling, they still have space to breathe and they're still comfortable. I swear by those 2 pairs of shoes and clothing. Those are the things that I wear. I can walk for miles in them, and they're easy to pack in my bag basically. Shopping wise, you can find a lot of shopping places there. Even if you forget something, from my toiletries, SPF is always on my list, and then a moisturizer. I absolutely love having one of the counters, because then you can count your tawaf while you do your tawaf or your Safa Marwa, because sometimes when you're in that moment, you forget how many tawafs you might have done. So I highly recommend getting one of those clickers. You can find them in any Islamic store. Mecca, people give them outside the masjid, subhanallah, like as gifts. So if you wanted to do something nice as well, you can buy dates as well for people and give your own gifts as a thanks. People absolutely love it. Last time we went with our daughters, my best friend, and I do have a video on that. But we made sure we got dates and we just started giving them away, and the girls absolutely loved it. They felt so nice to give people dates. And a lot of people sometimes don't have, especially if you go a little bit further away from the haram where there are people there. This is your opportunity for charity, and you can buy food, drinks and yogurts and water and things like that from Bin Dawood, from the supermarket, and just give them away. It's a really nice gesture. It's not expensive. Of course, if you can afford it, right? I am talking predominantly to Western solo Muslim travelers. If you can, it's a good deed to do. But otherwise, everything that you might need to pack, you can find them in Mecca and Medina. You don't have to overly stress about pack normal toiletries with you. Pack normal things that you will pack on a trip somewhere else. The only things that you will probably change, especially if you already wear abaya and hijab, is just take several of them and make sure that they're breathable. For me, that's one of my top things. Another tip that I would say, especially if you want to sit down and relax in the masjid, you will find those prayer mats that have a back end that you lift, and then you can just put your back. I absolutely love this. It's a very small thing. You can buy it for £10 from Mecca. I do that because then I can just sit and relax and I don't get backache, because I do have a back problem. If you are going to just pray in the masjid, then have a small prayer mat you carry with you. I do have a travel prayer mat that I carry with me pretty much all the time, and I use that for when I finish my Umrah and pray. Overall, these are my tips and advice for you. I absolutely believe women should go for Umrah, especially if you're convert like me, you don't have a mahram and you want to go for Umrah, this is your chance and your opportunity. It is allowed legally, depending on the school of thought you follow. It's allowed religiously as well if you take precautions and if safe. Then you of course need, your transportation, your clothes, and the best of all is your intention. If your intention is to go have a spiritual uplift, I have so many single readers and followers and friends that have gone for Umrah. Keep normal precautions like you would, even if you're in your own city. Like if you live in London, you have to have your eyes open for phone snatchers and things like that. And those things don't even happen in Mecca and Medina. So you're even safer, inshallah. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Check out all the resources in the description below. And I will see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.